What is up, GOAT World? It is I, your boy JDZ, and I have returned to you yet again with another GOAT format video. With me today in the building, I have an extremely special treat. They're always going to be special treats, but I have none other than your 2022 GOAT format world champion. Okay, in the building with me, I have on phone Dingo Sig. Please, Mr. Sig. Dingo Sig. Can I call you Mr. Sig? You know what? World champion Dingo Sig. First, I want to say a huge congratulations to you for winning this event. It is a honor to have been in the booth to call that, to see that whole thing go down. I can't think of
Thank you.
another a player that is more fitting of Go Format World Champion. I'm so glad that you were able to achieve victory. So please, for those at home that don't know you, please take a little bit of time to introduce yourself, Mr. Sig, Mr. Dingo World Champion Sig, and talk to us about you for a brief moment before we jump into this.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Simon Guinut from France, and I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh back in middle school.
Mm,
Back in the day, like I was really a casual player. Like I was playing with my friends at school. I never really did any kind of tournaments, and yeah, it was fun. But like a lot of people, I stopped because you're starting to get a little older and your interests change.
mm,
I kind of looked away Yu-Gi-Oh, and then I saw, like it was about maybe 3 years ago, I saw a Yu-Gi-Oh stream with some good formats, or it was a video, I think. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, I think it was a stream actually. I saw some of the cards that I was familiar with when I was a kid, and it reminded me some memories. And I'm a very nostalgic person. Like I often come back to the thing I used to like when I was a kid.
mm.
So I decided to look for places to should play the game again, and I found out about Dueling Book. I also found out about GoFormat.com, and that's kind of how everything started.
I mean, that's dope. I'm glad that you found it. I think your story is very similar to a lot of people's story. You know, you lose it, and then you come back to it, and it's always going to be there. That's one benefit about Go format. It never changes. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be consistent. The card pool doesn't change. The strategies don't. The strategies do change, as we know. The meta does consistently and constantly revolve. So, did you when you first came back into the online game, did you have immediate success? And what were some of the struggles that you had to originally starting out?
Yeah, so at first I didn't really care about competitive. Like I just wanted to revive some old feelings and just
Mm,
wanted to play with some childhood cards. So I started playing some kind of dragon deck as well as zombies and stuff.
mm,
Um, but the thing that hooked me with competitive aspects is that the competitive player actually care about you and about what you want to accomplish in the God format community, even if you don't want to play the most competitive deck. There will always be people willing to help you to make your deck better. Like back in the day, I really wanted to make zombie good, so I ask a lot um, for advices, and Mark in particular helped me a lot.
mm.
And this was really I really liked that because I had a kind of a similar experience with Pokemon, except that it didn't go well. Like I don't know if you know Pokemon Showdown, but basically it's kind of like the dueling book of Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
and you can play games on ladder and stuff. And I wanted to get into competitive Pokemon for a while. And the thing that kind of stopped me is that I didn't manage to find people to talk to and to grow as a player. And
It wasn't
often,
much of
like,
a community there, like a
yeah,
community. Yeah.
and the competitive player didn't really care about the newer player. And I wanted to do some fun teams with like kind of half competitive, half casual teams. And I couldn't find people who wanted to help me do that. And in good format, I actually found people willing to help me with zombies and stuff, and that was really cool. Because of that, I started making my decks better, and I also started to take a look at the more competitive decks, and that really helped me to get into the more serious stuff.
Okay, okay, okay. And now look, after all that time, after all that years and years of hard work and effort and dedication, you have now ascended to the highest echelon of our current game to be the GOAT format world champion. So that's very indicative that anyone can do it. I think if you are a newer player and you're just coming in and you're very casual, and if you just as much effort as you want to put in on the front end, you can get those results on the back end. So Dingosig, our new world champion, is proof of that. But Mr. Sig, Mr. Dingosig, first I have to ask. I have to ask. I keep saying Dingosig. Where did that name come from? Dingosig. What does that mean? I got to know. I'm sure other people want to know as well.
Yeah, it's kind of random. Like it's just a random account name for from when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Like Dingo is just from Crash Bandicoot,
Ah.
Dingodile,
Uh huh.
and Sig is just for Simon Guinea.
Break out the butter.
Basically.
Look at that,
Oh,
man. See, now the more you know. So that's like the third or fourth video game based username that I've heard so far. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But Mister Dingo Sig, what we're gonna do? Let's go and shift over. Just talk about this Goat Format World Championship event. I'm going to pull your deck up. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to pull it up right now so I can see it and everyone else can see it. You have
okay.
won the Go Format World Championship using the Chaos Return strategy. Okay, this is a deck that you are very familiar with because last year's World Championship, you topped that event with a very similar deck. What is it about the Chaos Return strategy that speaks to you, that you enjoy? Please tell me about this deck and that strategy as a whole, and talk to us about that.
When I first made the first version of the deck, it was I think in early 2021, and I took inspiration from an ACP video
Okay.
where he had like Return and three the coaches, three spy with Angel. And back in the day, like I was already interested by Return as the card because I looked very powerful, and I had some conversation with World Gone Mad about it. Like that's actually how I met WGM. That's yeah, because I saw his article about Bazoo Return on his blog, and I went in his DM to ask him some questions. So I was really interested by Return, and I thought like using triple Dekochi, triple spy with Return was a good idea because it was not really new at the time to play triple Dekochi, for example, in Return, like Volgon Mad did it before. But what I liked about this idea is that when you play both Dekochis and spy, like a lot of the time your opponent will also play Dekochis and spy as well because
Mm.
most Curve Turbo decklists play Dekochi and spy. So it's very likely that one of the two players will use Nobleman of Crossout on either Dekochi or Spy, and that makes Return a lot more consistent because it's very likely that in this matchup you will have your banished pile filled with monsters. So
That's
yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
that's pretty cool, man.
And I also wanted to play like a Chaos Return build over a build that was really focused on Bazoo, because like back in the day the main Return deck was the one that Weird Champ, also known as Kuru,
Yeah.
topped the world of 2020 with, and basically a variant of WGM decklist. And back in the day, it was like triple Bazoo, triple Return. It was very, very reliant on Return. It was almost combo. And back in the day, I thought that I would rather play Chaos Return because it's closer to a normal deck, like Deco, Cheese, and Spy, and Chaos Sorcerer are good standalone cards, so you don't necessarily need to draw the return to win your games.
Right.
And then I wanted to make it aggro because I figured that like return is a lot better in aggro decks because it's basically like a big burn card. A lot of people know this, I think, but for the newer player, I want to say that return is a card you want to use to kill your opponent. It's not really a card that you want to use to gain card advantage. Like in some spots, you might have to use it differently, but your goal is really to use it like a big burn card and just inflict damage to kill your opponent. So obviously, if you want that to work, you want to have monsters with high attack, and this is why I didn't want to play weak monsters like, I don't know, Night Excellent or Motion of Face or stuff like that, because I
Magical Merchant
really
is usually
wanted
very
to.
popular too in those types of that. Magical Merchant, I
Yeah,
think that can go. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, and I really wanted play strong monsters instead of playing weak flips. And this is kind of why I wanted to play Blade Knight, which is kind of weird for some people because it's a warrior and I also have DDY Lady and I don't play Rota, but the thing is, like, Blade Knight is still a very good standalone monster, and you don't necessarily need Rota to justify it. And I think it's good against Chaos Turbo and Warrior, and that's the two decks that you really want to beat in this meta.
Yeah,
I
talk about those
also,
Zaborgs, man. I saw it on the
oh
stream. Those
yeah,
Zaborgs were going
yeah,
they were so
yeah,
strong for
Zaborg
you.
are, yeah, so Zaborg are really good. Basically, the idea is that at first when I made the deck, I didn't play Zaborg in the very first version, but I was kind of underestimating it, and I realized it's kind of necessary in this deck because when you look at the deck, it's kind of similar to Chaos Recruiter in some way, and Zaborg is really good in Chaos Recruiter, and that's Mark theory, and basically his theory is that in Chaos Recruiter you kind of have trouble to put lights and dark in your graveyard because you don't have Tunnel Dragon, and Zaborg is a way to put attributes in your graveyard. And it's also great at dealing with Gravekeeper Spy and other walls like Spirit Reaper, for example. And in a deck like Chaos Recruiter, you struggle a lot with walls. And I think that's the same with my deck. Like, if you look at my monster lineup, aside from like Zaborg and Chaos Monster, it's really tough to deal with Spy. So I think Zaborg is really, really important, especially in the Chaos Turbo matchup. And it also fits the aggro strategy very well because it has a lot of attack, and also if you can bring it back with return, it deals a lot of damage. So yeah, it was a really, really strong card. And just one last thing I want to say about Saborg is that the monster lineup works quite well with it because you have flips, including Spy, and you have the recruiters. And this lineup of Zaborg, flips, and recruiter with Spy, it's kind of, it has been used by a few people already, like Delinquent, who did some stuff with Face, Tomato, Spy, and the Borg. I think Fancy Diazo, I don't remember who did it, but someone played God Control with Tomato, Flips, and the Borg. There was also like Cold Wave Monarch with the Borg, Spy, and Tomato. So I think this engine is really good, and that's why it fit the deck very well.
Man, I like what you got going on, world champ. I think you did it well. And how many return kills do you remember? How many return shots did you line up throughout this event? I saw it go off a few times on stream. How many, if you remember off the top of your head?
I don't remember honestly. I think maybe like 3 or 4.
Nice. Okay.
Maybe more. I also missed some actually, but I missed one against Guys D, where I could have gone for like set duo to use my Zing Zeng Hu to block his Bako and then go for Bazu return play, but I didn't think of setting the duo to make Zing live, so I didn't go for the play. But I would like to talk a bit about Shining Angel, if you don't mind, because
of course.
I know a lot of people like think it's bad, and I think they are kind of right in some way, but I really want to justify it because I think this deck actually has good reasons to play it.
Okay.
Like when I first built the deck, I didn't really have a good reason to play Shining Angel, but now I think I kind of understood why it's working. And it's basically because like all the other lights options have some kind of issues regarding the type of build I want to make. Like what I want to do is I want to have the Zaborg, the Chaos Monster, the Return, and the triple Spy, triple Dekoichi. And when I take that as a base and I try to look for other light options, I don't really have that many. Like I have Warriors, but the thing with Warriors is that when you play Rota, you want to take advantage of your Rota. So you want to have a big enough toolbox, like you want the
Exile Force level 2.
Yeah, exactly. You want all those monsters, and it takes quite some room in the monster lineup. It's not easy to fit, and you can do it like in a Bazoo warrior deck, like the one Indoors used. with a bazoo, a flip, and then a bunch of warriors. That's really good. But in this deck with the Zaborg and triple Decoche, triple Spy, you don't really have the room to do that. And I don't really want to search for more copies of Blade Knight either, because I have some anti-synergy with Blade Knight in the deck. Like I have Zaborg, I have Chaos, I have a lot of monsters in the deck.
Right.
So I can't really afford to play a ton of Blade Knight, because if I do, then I might just have a 1600 vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm not really sure that playing monsters like Sasuke will really improve my matchup against some deck. Like, for example, against Warrior, I would rather have the Ranger. So, yeah, Warrior is not really fitting for these decks. And another option was like to play light flips like Face. But again, like if you play Face over Angel, your monster lineup is weaker to aggro.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it makes your opponent mind control good in the post side. And this is really something I didn't want to do, because one of the strengths of my deck is that people were having some trouble to side against me. And I think just playing face will make their life a bit easier. So, and of course, I already mentioned that I want to play an aggro deck. I don't really want to play weak monsters, so face also doesn't really work for that reason.
Okay.
And the last option is basically like Sun Dragon, and it looks like the most obvious light for return, because it's really easy to enable Sorcerer and Bazoo with Thunder Dragon, so it's easy to get most banished. But the issue is Thunder Dragon is kind of a bit around card, and if I go from like, let's say, Chaos, triple Decoche, triple Spy, and I add the Thunder Dragon, then I want to get value from my Thunder Dragon, so I might add some discard traps, and then I have the discard traps, so I want to add Sinister Serpent. And from here, you probably see where this is going.
Yeah,
like
you're in a different deck. You're a completely different
Dragon,
deck.
Yeah, it's pretty much a turbo deck. Like, and I tried to do that. I played turbo, a list that looked like turbo, but with DDY Lady return and stuff, and it was okay, but it felt like a weaker Chaos turbo deck. So Angel is really the only light option in this deck that I felt like was a good choice. If you see what I mean. So,
yeah, it was like so you went through an entire process of elimination and determined that, hey, this is the only card that's left after I went through every option without losing my optimal or just degrading the capabilities of the deck. So I mean,
yeah.
And I've seen it. They come out, they'll attack the angel, you recruit another angel, and then you can play Zaborg, and then you can continue on with your play. Or you can bring out Bazoo, banish angel, and then return for another 14. I mean, I can see that as being a viable thing to do. I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I know you mentioned that the card didn't perform the way you wanted it to in the event at some point, but I can see why you had no choice but to put it in there. So I think it worked.
Yeah,
it worked out.
It was fine in the event, actually.
It was fine.
I think
okay.
It was, it was a bit bad in the previous event, like when I played the last chance qualifier. I think at some point I ran out of targets for Angel. But yeah, overall it was good. Like I think I had a game against AGTBLS during World Championship Top 16, where I crashed my Angel against a tribe, and I got DDY Lady and banished the tribe, and I had the light in the graveyard for my BLS. So that was really good. Like that's something you can't do with a warrior, for example. You can't crash it to get the light in your graveyard. So yeah, that was pretty nice.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty huge. All right, so tell me about this. Tell me about this side deck. I think that's pretty cool. And but first, if you're watching this, go ahead and tell me what you guys think. Get into the comment section. Let us know what you think about Dingosig's champion winning Chaos Return Bazoo Return deck, and let us know what you think about it before we. And then we're going to jump into the side deck. World Champ, please tell me about the side deck. Why did you construct it this way? And what were some of the benefits? Some of the matchups? Do you think you have everything covered? Would you have changed anything if you could play this event again?
I think the side deck is kind of straightforward because I have a lot of very standard side option. Like for Agua, I have the Sword and the Sakus, and I guess Zing, but yeah, it's whatever. It's not mandatory. For Turbo, I have the mind controls. For Burn, I have the walks, the dust. So yeah, most of the options are really, really standard. I I actually I went for Tribe and Asura for control.
Mm-hmm.
I have of course the wallet for aggro. Yeah, I think everything is kind of obvious except yeah maybe Tribe and yeah except maybe Tribe which I wanted to try for God control in chaos control to have more outs to Thousand Eyes restrict because it's a big issue for my deck.
Okay. Okay.
But
And
yeah, other than that, I don't know. I could talk about the Kuribo, I guess. Like it's pretty well known now, but I could have used other options like Jogen, for example,
mm-hmm.
which works fine with Angel against Reasoning Gate, and I really wanted to have something for Reasoning Gate entering this event. But I figured that Kuribo I can also side it against Thunderburn, so it's a bit more versatile.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I think the side is fairly standard. One thing I would like to do, like maybe side the third Book of Moon
Mm.
somewhere, maybe over the Zing, because Control is a very hard matchup in my opinion. I ended up winning a few Control matchup, but I think it's tough because you don't have a lot of ways to deal with Thousand Eyes Restrict, and
Mm-hmm.
scapegoats are a bit annoying. You take some time to clear them. So I think yeah, Book of Moon help in that matchup to keep the pressure going.
Okay. Did you bring in the roulette barrel at all? Did you ever resolve that
Yeah,
effect? Did it work out for you at all? Did
yeah,
you
I killed the breaker with it against
Nice.
Moxie's.
Nice, man. See, I like that. I like that. That's a nice little tech.
Yeah, it's just a random wall that you can search with Angel. It's really good. Like in my opinion, if you play Angel, you probably have to side this for any kind of aggro deck. I also sided it against Shaggy, I think, but I don't think I searched it, or maybe I did, but I didn't pop anything with it. But yeah, that's Red Ball is very good. I had it in the main in my deck list last year, but yeah, it's pretty much only good against aggro, so it's
Yeah.
better in the side.
Get it out of there. Okay, I love the deck, man. I love the deck, and I love the player who's playing it. So again, tell me what you guys think about this deck. But World Champ, can you just tell me real quick about your tournament experience? Tell me what that was like in that atmosphere, being in that situation, playing for the title, and how was that? What were some of your losses, if you had any, in Swiss, and how was that experience?
Yeah, so in Swiss, I played against Chaos Control first. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think I got a bit lucky because I won 2-1, and one game I won, and my opponent was holding his charities the whole time.
Dang, I
And
hate
I
to see it.
kind of randomly killed him because he summoned tribe and he didn't clear my spice. So I think I won because he made some mistakes, not really because of the deck.
Yeah.
Then I play against Fresh Ariel,
Mm-hmm.
the Golem God,
The Golem God. Okay.
and he played Chaos Turbo and I won 2-1. And again, I got a bit lucky, like he ran into a Mirror Force with his BLS. And so yeah, I think my my Swiss game weren't really that impressive. My top 16 games were much better, but yeah, against Alvarado, I won 2-0, and he kind of bricked the two both games. Like I just made him break with the shoot, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, and I killed him with some beaters. Yeah, then I played Ace. I played against Chaos Turbo, and I think I killed him with return, but I don't remember. Honestly, I watched the replays yesterday and I already forgot, but whatever. I lost against Guys D, actually. He was playing good control and I lost 0-2, and it was kind of tough. I made some mistake, I think game one was pretty close, and game two I lost because I missed a game shot with Bazoo. I just had to like zing the duo like I explained earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I played against Moxie's who was on Warrior and I kind of sacked him. Like he got destroyed because like game one he had a I went first, I set my entire hand and he had like duo knock, the shoot,
Oh no.
and basically like none of his cards were playable, so I just killed him with Blade Knight. And then game two it was more of a real game, but it was pretty tough for him. And then I lost to AGT, who was playing Chaos Turbo, and this was a pretty good game. I think it was, yeah, I think it was kind of close, and he actually got me with Jiu-Jitsu Master.
Oh yeah, he did play that card. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I think it's a really really good card against my deck because like it just go +1 so easily. Like if I attack it with an Angel, for example, or a Blade Knight, and even if my Blade Knight is boosted, like it's 1 for 1. So yeah, I think the card was pretty good for him. Or even if he like send back one of my spy on top of my deck, it's actually decent because it slowed down my draws and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Jujitsu was pretty clutch, and the Jinzo was also very strong because I was forced to solemn it at some point when I think he revived him with Call of the Haunted, and I had to solemn the Call of the Haunted, something like that. IGT did bring some nice options against my deck, but yeah, it was still pretty close.
So your day one, you ended 4-2.
So I 5-2.
5-2. I'm sorry, 5-2 on day one of
Yeah.
Swiss, and I mean that's not a bad. You made it to the second day, which is all you could ask for. And then how did that go going into the second day of the event?
Yeah, so the second day I played against Shaggy for my first round,
Mm.
and I won 2-1, but it was really close. Like the last game was really close. I think I had like 1600 life points or something, and maybe less at the end, and I could have died to a lot of things like ring and stuff. But yeah, his deck was kind of scary, but yeah, the spies and the recruiters and stuff kind of helped.
Mm-hmm.
I played against AGT and I won. AGT did some small mistake, like he sided King Tiger Wangu, which was not that great against my deck, but I think that's also one of my deck strengths is that people weren't really ready to side against it, so they made decisions that weren't necessarily the correct ones, which is understandable because like, I'm pretty much the only person playing it, so
Right.
it makes sense that people don't have a side plan ready. And I think I killed AGT with return maybe. And then for my third game of top 16, I played against AG Hussein. So against Chaos Turbo, I won 2-0. And I won a game with, I think it was against him. Like I did some kind of, or was it? I don't remember. I think I killed him with return. He banished like all my spies and the coaches, and I returned like a billion monsters on the field. And I got kind of lucky because, oh yeah, I think he sided Wangu, like he had the Wangu on the field, and I had to, I needed an out to his monsters so I can attack him directly with the spies and the decoy, and I ended up getting the snatch, and I just snatched the Wangu. I attacked against the set Knight Assailant. So
Mm-hmm.
Wangu died, and then I returned all my spies and decoys. So it was a pretty funny game shot. It was kind of lucky, but yeah, it was cool. Then I actually played like twice against Guys D. So I played him in the winner final and in the grand final after. So I won 2-1 in the winner final and 2-1-1 for the grand final because there was a tie because of rain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was tough. Geisty is a really good player,
He is.
and I was really under pressure during the grand final, especially because I wasn't really sure how to. Yeah, my side plan I think was not very solid against God control. Because when you look at my main deck, like there is no bad card against God control, but at the same time I don't have enough really good card. Like I don't have a lot of Thousand Eyes Restrict out. I have to side the Azura, the tribe. So I ended up playing games with return. I ended up playing a game when I sided return completely. So I had no return. So it was kind of weird the way I sided against him because I wasn't really sure how to do it. And fortunately, I think I got a bit lucky in the final, especially. I made a few mistakes, but yeah, I ended up taking it. My strategy, like against guys, was basically to just try to go aggressive as much as I can. try to just snipe his back row and blind Dust Tornado everything, so I can
Mm-hmm.
uh, attack without having to worry about scapegoat metamorphosis. So I tried to play very very aggressive and play the life point game. And I knew he had Solemn too, so I tried to really push as hard as I can, because I think you kind of have to kill very quick against control, otherwise you will just lose to Southern Eyes and
Especially
stuff. So
with his deck. I mean, he definitely likes to stall the game out. He definitely likes to add a lot
yeah,
of resources, and he has a very high OTK potential with his deck as well. So I would say in that game as quickly as you can, lower the resources and just attack and attack attack. And I think that's what you did, and it happened to
yeah,
work out. I think that's great. So you defeat Geist Z. He was a lot of people's pick because he has the champion pedigree. You as well. You top last year. He has been winning for since forever, and now you are the world champion. So just tell us about how that feels to be the champ, to be at the top of the game, hoisting the championship belt. It should be at your location soon. Tell us about how that feels to be the champ.
yeah. It feels great. Honestly, it's still kind of hard to believe because this is actually my first major win. I never won any FLCs or GFCs. Actually, I won uh, 3v3 GFC, but
Mm.
it's not the same. So I did not really expect to win World Championship, and yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, and I really tried to prepare myself mentally as much as I could, because I know that's kind of my main weakness. Like, I'm not always feeling very confident about the way I play, but I think that in tournaments, like, it's fine to not be very confident before and after the tournament, because you have to always question yourself and think about how you can improve and how you can also improve your deck and stuff. But when you're playing in the tournament, it's not the right moment to doubt. Like, you have to trust your deck list, you have to trust your plays. So that's really what tried to do, and I think the confidence really helped me. Of course, the deck, the plays, and the luck is what matters the most. But if you're in a good mental shape, it can actually change a lot the way you play. And I saw Shaggy was also extremely motivated, and he convinced himself that he was going to top the event, and he actually did. And I think his
so
mental
that's so impressive. That's
is
so impressive.
is a big reason that he managed to do that. So yeah,
Yeah, it starts here. You know, the mental toughness. I think I work on that myself, world champ. I think I would take your advice and do that, man. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. But this was dope, man. This was dope. I love the deck. I love what you had to say about it. But before we wrap it up, world champ, I need to hear any special shout outs you have. Anybody you wanna shout out to say, hey, I know you took that long break. You came back. Anybody who helped motivate you, give you some guidance, help you out to get to this point, because no one can do it alone. Anybody you wanna shout out here?
yeah. Of course, I want to shout out my team LRG, because I left the team when I took a break, and I came back, and WGM allowed me to come back, and I really don't regret it, because everyone was so supportive. Like, everyone was cheering me in the chat and stuff, and I think that really helped me to stay focused and to stay motivated and stuff. So that was great. And of course, there are a lot of people who are not in LRG that are supporting me. Like, I cannot say everyone's names, but
Yeah.
like Moxis in particular is also someone that always believed in me. I think he's kind of overrating me, to be honest. Like, he really really tries to support me as much as he can, and I really appreciate that. I think it's really helpful and important, and that's another advice I can give you is, like, if you want to improve and you want to get better at the game, just go talk to people and make friends and try to be a part of the community. I think it's not that hard in goat format, fortunately, because there are a lot of people, like I said, that are willing to help the newer player and stuff. So get in a team and get things started. And yeah, I think that's great to be surrounded with people who are willing to support you.
That's
I
awesome.
wouldn't be here without the team and stuff.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome, Dingosig. I can't think. I think, like you said, I think you are a great asset to this community, and I can't think of someone who is more fitting and more deserving of winning the Go Format World Championship and representing our game abroad and otherwise. And because you are a great person for this community. You're always willing to help. You're always willing to bring people up to your level to grow the game, because I think that is extremely important. So I do thank you for that. Although I think it's time. I mean, Europe, you guys are killing us in these championships. North America hasn't won one yet. They've all been firmly located in the European continent. So maybe next year a North American player can even the tides and become the world champ. But until then, you reign supreme for the rest of the year, and I salute you for that. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Of course. Congratulations again, Mr. Dingo Sig. Thank you so much, world champ. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for your time, GDZ.
Of course.
It was kind of tough to do the interview in English, but I
You,
did
you
my best. I
listen.
hope
You killed it.
people will be fine. And if anyone has questions and stuff, like feel free to ask me on Discord or in the comments, and I will try to answer as much as I can.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much for that. It is beautiful. Like, again, your the French accent is lovely to the English ears. You know, we enjoy it. It's wonderful. You killed it. I'm sure. All right, Mr. Dingo Sig. I'll see you. Thank you so much. All right, and that was your Go Format World Champion Dingo Sig. Tell me what you think about it. I love the deck. I love what he had to say about it. I love his story coming from the bottom all the way to the top. Always warms my heart to see someone, the one of one. This is the only Bazu return, the only return-based strategy that entered this event, won the entire thing. So it lets you know that this game has room if you are willing to dedicate the time it takes to play the strategy that you enjoy. You can have the same success that the world champion has displayed. So definitely something to consider. So tell me what you think about it. As always, the link will be down in the description of this video. Make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. Turn your reminders on if that's something that you're interested. If you're watching these videos, if you enjoy GOAT format, stick around, because there's going to be a GOAT format. This GOAT format is going to continue to push forward, or just continue to do that. Be a part of this, and it means a lot to all of us that this game is growing. So that's all I have to say about it. Shout out to the real one. Salute to the OGs. I'm JDZ. I play goats. You should too. Peace.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.